Coming up in court today.
She's placed in an orphanage first?
Yes.
Okay, and then she was placed with them after?
Right. Safe. It's called safe living facility or something. It's supposed to be safe and learning, whatever it is. It can't be too safe. She was gone.
Is it true?
In the court system, justice is not always just. That's why they bring their disputes here. Real people, real problems, real justice. Justice is eye for an eye.
The plaintiff is suing for her daughter's runaway. The defendant claims his facility has done all they can do to help.
I'm the plaintiff, and I'm going to win today. I'm suing that safe learning facility. They had my daughter, they lost her, they're incompetent, they're lazy, they didn't do anything to try to find her. I have all the evidence that I need, and I'm going to win today.
How you doing? I'm a defendant. I'm being sued, but I'm going to win. My main concern is the safety of this child that's missing from our facility. If the mother was at home, we wouldn't be here right now.
All rise! Tracy Watkins, you're suing DeMarcus Freeman, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
You're the director of Safe Living and Learning Home, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, you're suing for whenever your daughter was taken away from you, put in protective custody, and while she was there, she got away, and she's been gone ever since, and you don't know where she is, correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
And you're suing for $1,250 because you hired a private investigator to find her, and they haven't been able to find your daughter. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right, tell me about your case.
Okay, my daughter was placed in a safe living facility, and at the time, I was incarcerated. I was locked up.
Okay, why were you incarcerated?
Well, it's kind of a long story, but on New Year's Eve, my husband and I were coming from a New Year's party, and I had a little bit much to drink. I'm not a drinker at all, so one glass was kind of too much, so I was a little tipsy, so he drove.
Okay, and so he was driving, and you had had too much to drink, correct?
Right.
Okay, so why did you get arrested if you weren't driving?
Well, he was driving too fast.
Okay.
So we were pulled over, and once the police officer checked him, they found his eyes were dilated, and they checked him, and then they happened to find cocaine in the car, which I didn't know.
Cocaine in the car, don't just slide past that. Where was the cocaine at?
It was hidden underneath the seat or something.
Which seat, his seat or your seat?
Actually, it was on my side of the car.
Under the seat?
Under the seat.
And did you know it was there?
No, I did not.
Okay, what happened?
My husband knows I don't like drinking, I don't like drugs or anything. I don't even allow it in my house. I don't tolerate it at all. So I was unaware that it was underneath the seat in the car. So when they pulled me out, they gave me a test, and they found out I had alcohol in my system. And so since the car was in my name, they arrested both of us. Okay,
because the drug was found under the seat, they arrested both of you.
Right, and I tried to explain to them.
with the cocaine?
Right, and I tried to explain, but they wouldn't listen, and we were both taken down. I spent like 3 months in jail.
3 months in jail. So when you were placed in jail, obviously, he's the father of the child?
Yes.
And what is your daughter's name?
My daughter's name is Samantha.
And how old is she?
She's 15 now.
She's 15 now. What was she, 14 at the time you were arrested?
Right.
Okay, so you went to jail January 1st, and you spent 3 months in jail, is that correct?
Yes.
And where is the father?
He's still in jail, actually.
He's still in jail?
Yes.
Okay. And so when both of the parents were in jail, they took away Samantha, is that correct?
Right.
And they placed them in your facility, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And tell me a little bit about your facility.
Safe Living and Learning is like a home for, let's say, runaways, kids that have been abused, you know, et cetera, et cetera.
It's when the state gets involved.
Yes,
they place them with you if there's no one to protect the child.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Like CPS get involved.
Right.
I was notified that the defendant, Ms. Watkins, she was stopped on the 1st, like she said, for DWI, her and her husband.
But also, Judge, I was also let go because they found out.
Okay,
they just found out that I did not. I'm not a drinker. I've been tested 6 times since I've been out of jail. And
did you
clean.
serve? Did you get found guilty?
No.
Okay, so what happened? Did you go to trial or what?
They tested me while I was there. They tested me 6 times after I was arrested, and I was clean.
Okay.
They didn't have anything to go on.
And so, did your husband? Did he testify for you or against you, or what happened?
Well, I had to testify for him, but he also said that that was not mine.
Okay, so he testified at trial, it wasn't yours.
Right.
And that's why he's still in jail and you're out.
Right.
Okay, so you got out. So if you were there 3 months, you got out right, what, about the end of March or so?
Right. Right after my daughter's birthday.
Okay, so when you got out, when did you find out your daughter had gotten away? When did...
I actually found out. As soon as I got out, I went straight over there because my daughter was, first of all, she was placed in a state custody. Okay. In an orphanage.
She was placed in an orphanage first?
Yes.
Okay, and then she was placed with them after?
Right. Safe. It's called Safe Living Facility or something. It's supposed to be safe and learning, whatever it is. It can't be too safe. She was gone.
Is it true that her daughter, I mean, you're not, when someone's placed with you, you're not supposed to let them out of your sight. I mean, how did her daughter get away?
First of all, this is not a correctional institute.
I understand.
This is for, I mean, we don't have cages and we don't lock them up.
I know what they are.
But you still are responsible regardless if you have cages or not.
Well, if you wouldn't have been drinking and driving and your husband...
Regardless, that's not why we're here.
Well, let me just say this, Judge.
No matter what she might have done, you're responsible for the children. Tell me about your facility.
When Samantha came to me on the 15th, we noticed that she had suicide problems and she had social problems. What I did,
she did not. My daughter is fine. My daughter has never had social problems a day in her life.
Excuse me, ma'am, you just got to talk.
Okay, so she got counseling while she was at your facility. How did she leave the facility? And how come we can't find her? Nobody's been able to find her? Have you been able to find her or the police or anybody?
Have you even looked?
We made police reports. We had people looking for her. We put out an Amber Alert on her. Samantha was supposed to be at bed check. We notified that she was gone. We first found out she was missing. And
so you've been looking for her for what?
Let me say something.
6 months?
Yes, let me say something. I hired a private detective. They did absolutely nothing. I hired a private detective.
I mean, it was my job to call the police.
I had someone looking for her.
Okay,
the only thing he could tell me was that she's gone. We can't explain it. Okay. I'm sorry, but I can't do anything.
So she's out on the street somewhere?
Yes.
On January 11th, she wrote to you that I don't have any of my own things here. I'm not allowed to use the phone. If I don't get to leave soon, I think I'll just die. Please come and get me soon. I love you, Mom.
The plaintiff is suing for her daughter's runaway. The defendant claims his facility has done all they can do to help.
All right, Ms. Watkins, you have been tested and you were exonerated, and now you've been looking for your daughter for 6 months. Tell me what all you've done and what's been going through your head.
I have an invoice right here, but I hired...
Big Sugar Ray.
I hired a private detective because I couldn't get help from anyone. When I went to his facility, they told me she was gone. The only thing he said was, I'm sorry. And I asked if I could even talk to some of the other children there, maybe that she told them something. He wouldn't let me talk to anyone. I couldn't talk to any of the counselors. Nobody would give me any type of information. I couldn't get any help from him. So I had to hire a private detective. And you can see it cost me over $1,200.
$1,256. I've got it here.
Absolutely, to find them, and he has done absolutely nothing. It's called safe learning environment. It's not safe because she walked out. My daughter is not a troubled child.
But
I have never had any problems.
I mean, I can't imagine the horror she's going through every night knowing her daughter's somewhere out in the street. I mean, how many other girls have run away from your facility?
Let me say this. We've been operating over 20 years. I've been a director for the last 3 years. Since I've been there, we have never had anything like this take place. Like I said, the girl was lashing out, needing attention, trying to get it. I myself got involved.
Excuse me, I have letters from my daughter.
You do? Let me see the letters then. Big Sugar Ray, please give me those.
She got letters up. She got letters for the last 2.5 months. I think the last letter that she received.
Okay, let me see the letters real fast.
First of all, he doesn't know exactly how many letters I have.
Okay, so you got a letter on January 11th, February 4th, and March 14th from your daughter, and
yes, Your Honor.
You got anything else? Any other?
Only some of the letters.
No, sir, but let me just say this, Judge.
Okay, got 1 second. Go ahead.
Let me say this, Judge, and I mean this from the kindness of my heart.
Okay.
I have a child, and I wouldn't dare want anything like this to happen to my child.
Right.
I feel where this lady's coming from, but at the same time, the young lady was lashing out trying to get attention, wondering why did Mom go to jail? If her and her daughter had a better understanding, then maybe none of this would have took place.
Okay, well, I'll be back in a second with my decision. All right, thanks.
Yes, this question is for the mother. Ma'am, did you not have any relatives that would be responsible enough to take care of your child while you was incarcerated?
No, ma'am, I did not. My parents are still living, but they're old. My mother has Alzheimer's.
Man,
there's no one to watch her. I have no relatives. I'm the only parent. I'm the only child. My husband's the only child. There's no one else. It's just us.
All rise!
All right, turn around, man. I just want to read some of the parts of the letters that Samantha wrote to you, ma'am. On January 11th, she wrote to you that I don't have any of my own things here. I'm not allowed to use the phone. If I don't get to leave soon, I think I'll just die. Please come and get me soon. I love you, Mom. On February 4th, she wrote you saying that I can't take much more. Please hurry and come get me, please. And then on March 4th, she wrote, Dear Mom, I hope I'll see you again soon. Don't worry, I'll be fine. If I can survive this place, I can survive anywhere. So see you, Mom. Gotta go. Well, ma'am, I know where your daughter is. Your daughter is right here. Your daughter's right here in the courtroom. Bring her in. Bring her in. Samantha, come on in and see your mom. Y'all come on in here. Let me talk to both of you a little bit. Ma'am, I need to tell you something. Your daughter has been through a lot. She has been for 6 months on her own. She's grown up a lot. She's been on the street. She's had to go from house to house. She has survived on her own. She ran away because she just didn't understand. She thought you and your husband had deserted her. There's a lot of bonding that needs to take place. We have already had her in counseling, and she understands that you did not desert her and that you love her. And she is going to take a lot of healing. She's a different girl. In 6 months, she grew up a lot. But I think the two of you will bond, and I think everything's going to be okay.
Thank you.
All right. Bring in the next case. Thanks.
I guess my father talked about me a lot.
Right.
I would go up there to his office, and she invited me over to her house. Excuse me. She invited me over to her house to ride horses. I loved horses as a child. I still do. I work with horses today. And she would take me places. She took me to the first restaurant I had ever been to.
The plaintiff sues an internet company for failing its obligation. The defendant claims no contract was ever signed.
All right, Patricia Westerly, you're suing a company called Best Buddy Finder, who's represented by Miss Betty Smith. You want $300 off fee you paid to find an old friend, but this company's done nothing to help you find them. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Ma'am, you're saying that it is true they have not yet found her, but you're still looking, and therefore she shouldn't get her $300 back, correct?
This is correct.
Okay, go ahead and tell me about your case.
Okay. You know, they have these ads on TV about finding old friends, and, you know, this one just really seemed like a legitimate company. And so I did some research on it. I printed off some paperwork from the computer, and I started filling it out, and it was asking questions, you know, like, that just made it seem real.
Well, who were you trying to find?
When I was a child, the only person who showed me love and who showed me what love was supposed to be like and brought joy into my life, her name was Miss Kamita. She was my father's secretary, and I spent a lot of time over at her house when I was a child.
Okay, why were you spending so much time at her house?
When I was young, my parents divorced. Both my mother and my sister had bipolar disorder. They were both bitter and had a lot of pent-up anger towards my father, and they took it out on me. My mother was gone.
Abused physically or mentally?
Mentally by my mother.
Okay.
Physically by my sister. There was There was one time where she just kept punching me, and you know, I didn't want her to know that it hurt, and so I would laugh.
Right.
And she just kept punching me and said, you know, stop laughing, and she'd keep hitting me until I would cry. And my mother never did anything about it.
So tell me about Miss Comito. Who is she?
She was a woman that my father hired at his office to be a secretary. And I guess my father talked about me a lot.
Right.
I would go up there to his office, and she invited me over to her house. Excuse me. She invited me over to her house to ride horses. I loved horses as a child. I still do. I work with horses today. And she would take me places. She took me to the first restaurant I had ever been to, a place in Mississippi called the Round Table.
Right.
Oh, it was so amazing to me. I'd never seen so much food, and I'd never been so happy in my life. She took me in as if I were her own daughter. And
did you know that this person was so important to her?
Well, she contacted our business. Of course, we knew she had to be important. But...
Yeah. Okay. Well, tell me why she is so important in your life. And when's the last time you've seen her?
I was 12 years old when I saw her last.
How many years ago was that?
About 18 years ago.
18 years ago. And tell me why this woman, of all people in your life in the past, in 30 years, is the most important person in your life that you really want to see.
She was like a mother to me, the closest thing to a real mother that I had, the only one that showed me love. I mean, when I look at my own children today, all I can see is her face and their eyes, you know, because I try to raise them the way that she raised me.
Right.
And then these people, you know, they take my money and they want to play with my emotions like this.
We've been doing the best we can, Your Honor. We've been doing the best we can.
Okay.
It wasn't supposed to take more than 2 weeks.
And they haven't found her, right?
No.
Okay.
Judge, in my defense, these aren't easy cases to locate people all the time. It's not cut and dry like, hey, it's not like that.
Okay. All right. Well, out of all the people you've had in your life, is she, how would you consider her? Is she the most important person in your life?
Absolutely.
The most important person in your life?
She changed my life. She made me what I am today. I mean, I could be in jail or dead by now if it wasn't for her. She's the only thing in my life that brought joy as a child, and I've carried that with me.
Okay. All right. Well, Miss Westerly, I've got news for you. Miss Comito, person you haven't seen in 18 years, is in this courtroom. Do you see her out there? I know it's been 18 years, but do you see anybody that looks like Miss Comito?
No.
No? Miss Smith, do you know where Miss Comito is?
Yes, Your Honor, I believe I do.
Okay. Where is she?
She's right here. Hey, girl, come over here. Come over here.
Miss Comito, did you know you were so important in her life?
I had no idea. I just knew she was a little girl that needed some attention. I love you so much.
Well, the good deeds you did 18 years ago has transformed her whole life. Everything you did 18 years ago has developed her, and you have become one of the most important people in her life. So keep doing good deeds. You never know how many people you'll affect. All right.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you.
I think today was wonderful. Everything went great. I was expecting to get some money today, but in fact, I found my long-lost friend, and I'm really excited, and I'm ready to do some more catching up with her.
I think it's been a great day today. I think it was a lot of fun to pull this little prank on her, and it was such a miracle that she even called the service to find me at all. It was kismet. It really, really was kismet, and I couldn't be happier. I just couldn't be happier.
The Constitution was developed for one central thing. The theme was for the respect of others. Both cases today dealt with how one person can make such a difference in your life, whether it's a family member or a friend from a long time ago. Always remember to respect others, and you will make a difference in people's lives. But if you have been a victim, don't get revenge. Bring it to my court.